Okay, this is lesson 60 for 7th grade, and today we're talking about fractional part of a number and also percent of a number. But we can relate percent and fractions to each other, or ratios, alright? And today we're going to have to be good with our word play and kind of understand and know what different words mean in math. So we'll kind of show you what we're talking about here in a second. But what we're going to be solving for are different parts. We might be solving for the whole part, we might be solving for the fraction part, or the percent, or we might be solving for the what we're taking the percent of, that type of thing. And that'll become evident when we go over these examples. Alright, so we can solve fractional part of a number problems by translating the question into an equation and then solving that equation. So we want to translate by replacing the word is with equal. So if I say something is something else, that means that that something is equal to that something else. And we replace the word of with multiplication. And we've been doing that one for a while. So for instance, 3/4 of 20, we would do 3/4 times 20, which would be, well, there's a lot of ways to do that, but we've been doing that for a long time, especially on those power-ups. So of multiply is equal. Let's see what that looks like. What number is 0.6 of 31? So we're looking for a number. I'm going to call that n. What number is 0.6 of 31? So let's put all this together. There's some number, and it equals 0.6 times 31. Okay? So what number is 0.6 of 31? Another way that we could say this is 60% of 31. So what is 60% of 31? You could go ahead and just multiply 0.6 times 31 to get your number. Or you could do, okay, so this is in the tenths place, that's 6/10. You could do 6/10 times 31 over 1 if you wanted. You've got a lot of options from there. So you could go ahead and solve this. I'll just type it in on the calculator here. 0.6 times 31, and we get 18.6. So n equals 18.6. Okay? So that's how we would set that one up. Let's take a look at the next one. Alright, we're on the same page here. Now we've got 3/5 of 120 is what number? Okay, so let's kind of highlight some things here. 3/5 of, remember of, we're going to put times in. 3/5 of 120 is equals what number? We're going to call that n again. So let's go up over here. We'll bring this one up here. 3/5 times 120. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 120 over 1. And that should give us our answer. So really what we're looking for is what is 3/5 of 120, or 3/5 times 120 over 1. Alright? So we could go ahead and do this. If we multiplied straight across, we could do 3 times 120 is 360, and then divide that by 5 times 1. So 360 divided by 5, that's one route we could go. We could cancel out because I know 5 and 120 both have a 5 that go into them. So let's see what comes out there. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. Now we have 1 times 1, which is 1. And then 120 divided by 5. See what we get there. 5 goes in there twice. Drop that down, and we get 24. So this would be 24. And 3 times 24 is 72. 72 over 1, or 72. So N would be 72 for that one. Okay? Alright. So setting it up is usually the hardest part, but not only have those key words that we can use. Okay. We can translate percent problems into equations the same way we translate the ones we were just doing. We can convert the percent to either a fraction or a decimal. So let's take a look here. The jacket sold for $75. 40% of the selling price was profit. How much money is 40% of $75? So we're looking for how much money is 40% of 75. So of is multiplying. So really we've got M equals 40%. If we turn it to a decimal, remember as a fraction it's 40 over 100. And as a decimal it's 0.4. So let's kind of, as we get used to these, we'll decide whether or not it's better to turn it into a fraction or a decimal. So let's, here I'm going to erase this. Let's reduce this first and see if it's not better than 0.4. So 40 out of 100 is the same thing as 4 out of 10, which is the same thing as, if we divide by 2 fifths. 2 fifths, that sounds kind of nice, because this number is divisible by 5, and we have a 5 down here. So we'll replace 40% with 2 fifths. So M equals 2 fifths times 75 over 1. 75 over 1, so just $75, just putting it over 1. And if we divide by 5, we get 1. And if we divide 75 by 5, we should get 15. So now we have 2 times 15, which is 30. And 1 times 1, which is 1. So 30 over 1 equals $30. So 40% of $75 should be $30. Alright? So that one, it was a little better to turn it into a fraction. But you also could have done 0.4 times 75, and you still would have got the same answer. Alright? It's just kind of up to you. And maybe if you have a calculator with you, that'll help you make your decision too. Okay, well, let's take a look at this one quick. A certain used car salesperson receives a commission of 8% of the selling price of a car. That means if they sell a car, they earn 8%, or 8% of the car's value they get to keep for their money. If the salesperson sells a car for $10,800, how much is the salesperson commission? So that would be 8% of 8%, which is 8 out of 100. 8% of times 10,800 should be how much they made. Okay. I think this will be a good one to use 8 out of 100 because if we look, well, this is going to be divisible by 100. Okay. So if we divide by 100 on that little cross section there, we should get 108. Okay. So if we do this, 100 divided by 100 is 1. Divide that by 100, you get 1 weight. So our answer will be 8 times 108. Let's see what that is. Times that, so we get 64. 8, $864. Now, if you really want to check and see if you got the right answer, do 864 divided by 10,800, and you should get 0.08, which we do. Okay. So the other route you could have gone is you could have done 0.08 times 10,800, if you would have done that, you still would have got $864. So we also have to remember how to turn things into percents, decimals, fractions, all that good stuff. All right, just a couple more here. This one, what number is 25% of 88? So we're looking for a number that is 25% of 88. So n equals 25%. We could write that as 0.25 or 25 over 100, which we know is 1/4. Well, let's see, what one would be better? We could do 0.25 times 88. I would say this one would be good with fraction. So we'll replace this with 1/4 times 88 over 1. Okay. So really we have 88 divided by 4. 1 times 88 is 88. 4 times 1 is 4. And 88 divided by 4 is 22. Alright, that one was easier to keep it as a fraction. And as this next note will tell you, which I already mentioned, it takes some practice to figure out which one to use. A lot of times, for instance, with this last one we did right here, if you have a calculator handy, why not just do 0.08 times 10,800? Because that's, you're getting into some big numbers there. This one was easy because 1/4 of 88 is just 88 divided by 4, which is 22. So maybe on this one here, we won't go through this one. It's in your book if you want to see the answer. But the bicycle is on sale for $119.95. The tax rate is 6%. So to figure out the tax rate, I would do